Diggy diggity bam bam bay, diggy diggity bam bam bay, diggy diggity bam bam bay. We vote in BNB. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody voting, they voting in time. Shelling, yes we shelling. They voting BNB, BNB down.
Hello, Turks and Caicos. Welcome to another episode of This Is What's Up, the 3.0 edition. Still on the road to election, February 7th, 2025. It's getting near, it's getting near. Today we have a host of tremendous candidates, representatives, MPs in the House, future first-time runners, of course. I'm going to just introduce the panel. I'm just very excited to get into it. We have Mr. Zhavargo Jolly. How are you doing today?
I'm well. It's a pleasure to be here. I think this isn't the first time being interviewed by you, but it's definitely good to be back.
Good to have you back as well. Of course, we have Honorable Jameka Williams, all-island candidate for Progressive National Party this year, this time around, 2025. How are you doing, Honorable?
I'm very well. It's always good to be here to talk with you, Rob.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've seen you on the campaign trail. You've been door to door doing a lot of stuff. So you must be kind of exhausted, I would imagine. But you look great. So how's that going for you?
It is very exhausting.
Yeah.
But every time you have an opportunity to take a few minutes rest, it's still
just right
you
back
still
at it.
never rest anyway. So your mind is always racing. But,
Definitely.
But it's really good work.
Yes.
To go to door and meet with our people.
Definitely. And then we have Honorable Minister, Honorable Rachel Taylor, 89's finest. How are you tonight? Or how are you this evening?
I'm fine, and how are you?
I'm doing great.
Yes.
I'm just glad to have you back. It's been a while since me and you have sat down and had a good talk, so it's good to have you back on the show. How's the campaign going? How's the door-to-door? How's the whole thing going now?
Well, I'm quite excited. The most exciting part of it is for me to have the opportunity to take the at-large candidates with me.
Yes.
Especially those individuals, the candidates who have recently joined the team.
Yes.
And it's been quite an exciting journey.
Yep.
There are some of them who are always with us. We've been going to a few of the constituency rallies, and then sometimes I'll hear Honorable Jolly say, "Oh, Honorable Taylor, you have your whole team with you."
Yes.
So, and the good thing about it is that when we go door to door, they can call them by names now.
Definitely,
which is quite exciting.
And of course, Honorable Malcolm, Minister Malcolm. Honorable Malcolm, how are you doing? As you said, this is not your first rodeo. How's it feel to be back on the campaign trail? And again, this time from a different position, actually defending the record now. So how's everything going for you?
Well, I feel fantastic.
Yep.
I mean, Ralph, going through the islands, touching base with the voters from Grand Turk to Providenciales, South Caicos and North, middle, in between. I believe that the people, the greater majority of the people has caught our vision. I believe they are pleased with the job that we have done collectively as a party and representatives in the House of Assembly. And I believe that this country, like you said, this is not my first rodeo.
No,
it's
definitely
not my
not.
second. It's not my third.
Yep.
So I know the mood of this country for the last 29 plus years.
Yep.
And I believe that this country is going to return our government and return all of our candidates resoundingly in the next few days. So I am excited. I am excited of what I'm seeing on the campaign trail.
Let me ask all of you a question. Is the journey better than the destination? Or the question I guess I'm asking is, being on the campaign trail and going through all of this rigor right now, is there any fatigue that you're like, man, I just wish we get to February 7th, get this over with? Or is it like you're just enjoying the journey and this is just a thrill? I guess anybody could answer first. Just curious.
Well, I must say I'm enjoying the journey because we have put in a lot of work.
Yes.
And our result speaks for itself.
Yes.
So now this is really an opportunity for those persons who are really not in tune as to what was happening to ask the necessary questions. And those persons who are actually in doubt, you have the opportunity to explain more in depth.
Yes.
I do remember going to one particular house, Honorable Williams and Mr. Jolly and I, and as we walk in the door, the first thing that caught my eye was a little baby on the sofa. And I said to the mom, this is like 2:00. Why isn't she in school?
Yep.
But she didn't know about the daycare program. So I was excited to inform her about that.
Yes.
And then, we went in so much more detail, and they were so much more appreciative of what we've had to do. And listen, they were PNPs, but
Yep.
when we left there, they were guaranteed voters.
Definitely.
So providing that opportunity to share with them what we have been doing and what we intend to do moving forward was also exciting.
Yeah, definitely. So first timer on Mr. Jolly, almost Freudian slip, but hopefully soon to be Honorable John. What about you? How's the journey been? Just describe that so much more, like even more than, of course, February 7th, you're hopeful. Hopefully everything works out. But what can you say about the journey? What are maybe some of the experiences that you've experienced so far that's caught your eyes and, and whatnot?
So I think it's a good question. And I try to remind people that this isn't my first time running.
That
it's
is true.
definitely my first time running with a major party. And it's so interesting to see the differences in the machinery, the support, especially going with district, being able to go into districts with district candidates like Honorable Rachel, and just seeing how deeply entrenched she is in her community and how different it is campaigning as a new candidate and then campaigning with an established elected representative. And people are always going to be welcoming to me, I guess, as a young man and a young Turks and Caicos Islander.
Yes.
But there's a different feeling when you're walking into a room with someone with an established record, a track record, some kind of completed task they can stand on. So I think that's one of the major differences for me. But I always I didn't look at it last time, but I definitely have an interesting perspective on the campaign trail now.
Yep.
I've come to realize that the campaigning and the election period is important because it's a humbling experience. As an elected official or trying to be an elected official, you really have to humble yourself in front of your people and ask them for their vote, their support, whether it's a first time and giving them your ideas, or you're the incumbent and reminding them of what you've done. So if you are successful in the election, you go into governance with a soft, welcoming spirit, a humble spirit, as opposed to going in there on just talking about your ego and feeling like you're bigger than this whole thing. So I love the fact, it's almost like a coming to God moment where you have to humble yourself before you come to God. You have to admit your sins and ask for forgiveness before you can truly, walk to that door. So I look at the election or the campaign process as me really having to look at myself and being very self-aware of what I bring to the table and having to ask people and having to expose myself to them and asking them for their votes. So when I go into, if I am successful, I pray that I am successful, I walk into there very aware of my strengths, my weaknesses, the areas I need to work on, but also what I hope to achieve as an elected official.
Definitely. And Honorable Williams, I want to ask you this from a different sort of same perspective, but from the standpoint of you're part of the government this last time, but this time you get to put your name on the ballot personally. And so, of course, you have things that, when you're running, I guess, is a little different. Last time you didn't have to necessarily have a platform, so to speak, because you were appointed. So now this time having that platform, what is like sort of the expectations that you're seeing people have with you now that's kind of different than when you were elected and just representing them? How do you find it now that you're on the campaign trail and like their requests and their expectations of you?
Well, that's a very good question, but I think because of some of the some of the things that I spoke about in Parliament and I advocated for, I think people trust my voice.
Yes.
Right? And they trust that I will fight for them. So throughout the Turks and Caicos, as a at-large candidate, at this point, I've been to all of the islands.
Yes.
And I'm knocking on doors everywhere. And people, I'm surprised the amount of people who knew who I was.
Yep.
Right? Because I didn't think that many people listened to Parliament.
Oh, no,
right?
they do.
So they listen. So it tells me that they're listening.
Yep.
And they're going to hold me to my word.
Of course.
But I'm a person who loves people.
Yes.
Right? And so this experience has been good for me because I've seen communities who are, affluent communities, and I've seen those persons who are really struggling. And one of the things that I've learned and I would want to carry with me throughout this journey is that you have to be in touch with people.
Yep.
You have to be in touch with them. And if you're in touch with them, they will stay with you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So it's been a good experience. And one of the things I definitely can say is that people trust me. People trust me, and they know that I will fight for them.
Yep.
I don't know if I can say anything else more than that.
Yep.
But it's been a good experience to meet people from different walks of life.
Definitely.
Throughout the campaign, and then I think too I've gotten a lot of ideas
Yep.
that I wouldn't even think about
Just
just,
by
talking
listening,
to different
right?
people
Just- yeah.
who are actually in the struggle.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
So you may think that you have all of the ideas and all of the
Yes.
plans, and someone comes to you. Sometimes it's someone who you least expected from. Will give you a completely different perspective.
Yes, yes.
So I don't know how better way to say it.
No, I
but
mean
it's
that's
been-
that's
yeah.
amazing, because I know, speaking to Honorable Howell, that was one of the things he said. He said, because Honorable Howell somewhat is assumed to be a quieter person, but I kind of understood based on his profession how he goes about things. And one of the things he says is that first he hears it out, listens, grids it all out, like somewhat of a construction worker. Then he goes and see, okay, how does this best fit, not just for what I think I wanted to do, but what the community needed. And I'll segue to that, to Honorable Malcolm, because Honorable Malcolm, you are, well, everybody jokingly would say you're everybody's cousin, but you are everybody's cousin,
I
right?
am.
And you and Honorable Jameka, similarities, you all are like from every island, it seems, in the Turks and Caicos.
Yes.
But I mean, like,
And I am a partial Ginny breed too.
no, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
Like her.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then I'm
yeah.
a Baxalinian.
And that's
like
her.
her.
Exactly.
And I'm a South Cakian.
That's what I'm
like
saying.
her.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, we do. We
No,
do
but I
have a lot
mean,
of
like for you
similarities.
as well now. I'll say for sure, Honorable Malcolm, one of the things that I will say, like I hear about you a lot, is that a lot of people would tell me and they would say, "Wow, I knew Honorable Malcolm to be, in many different arenas, but being in the House of Parliament, your voice resonated, right? And and you're not afraid to speak truth to power." And so how do you continue that going into the next 5 years? I know nothing about you probably is going to change, but how do you even expand on that? How do you build on that and build on what you can offer the people of the Turks and Caicos?
Well, one of the things that I did in this term, that this generation of politicians, generation, not politician, but the generation that are experiencing this sort of governing.
Yep.
I have an open door policy.
Yep.
Which means you don't need an appointment to see me. And my staff in Grand Turk and Provo, they always say, Minister, we don't know how you do it. I can see 25, 30 people on a given day. They just line up one after the other. And I will say to them, on election day, none of them made an appointment to go to the polls and vote for me. So when they come to my office and they need to see me, they are the boss. I work for them.
Yes.
So I try not to let them wait. So I believe I've been a very accessible
Yes.
minister. Unless I'm out of the country, I go to church every Sunday.
Yep.
And there are times I come out of church and there are people waiting at my car to see me.
Yep.
And so that will definitely continue into the next term. And then as the Minister of Health, health is everybody's business. There's no color in health.
Yep.
There's no blue, no yellow, no green. People's health is very sacred. And I believe that level of trust
Yes.
that the country has in me as the minister to take care of their health needs is certainly solid. And I believe they will repose that
Yes.
trust into me for the next 5 years.
Definitely. And talking about trust, I want to bring it down. We have 3 all-island candidates here, but we have one candidate here that is, and one member. I shouldn't just call you a candidate. Still the member of Parliament, still for 89 and 5 keys, until otherwise noticed. But I'm very confident you are an Honorable Taylor. But Honorable Taylor, you're in a very interesting race. Let's call it that, right? Of course, we've seen the other side. They've had a rally. Some things were said. I want you to set the record straight very briefly on where you stand with 89. Where does 89 stand with you, and why you are confident in what 89 will do come election day, February 7th.
Thank you very much for that question. As a candidate for the Progressive National Party, as well as the MP for Electoral District 9, 5 Keys, South Dock, and Chalk Sound, what is critical for me is to remain focused.
Yes.
Not to listen to the naysayers. Because my mom always say this, dogs don't bark at parked car.
Never.
So I know that my work will speak for
Never
itself.
see it.
It will definitely speak for itself. But in saying that, Honorable Williams said something that is very important. Politics is really about people. And when you continue to canvass, you hear their concerns.
Yes.
And I had to make some serious decisions in cabinet
Yep.
within my ministries, because what I remembered is what the people said while I was campaigning.
Yes.
So you may have ran on a platform, but you realize that you have to make certain tweaks, certain
Yes.
amendments to your plans
Yes.
in the best interest
Of the
of
country.
the people.
Yes.
And the reason for the introduction of certain social programs. Now, in my constituency, as I canvassed the last 4 years and continue to canvass because I remained in my constituency and that was critical. So therefore, when you knock on the doors, people remember you not because you probably came every week,
Yep.
but you are answering their phone calls. You are addressing their needs, not just telling them about the programs that are available, but taking them there,
Yes.
holding their hand
Yes.
every step of the way until they've been able to gain full access of what is available.
Yep.
And I think that is critical.
Yes.
I think too many times as politicians, we say that we put the programs in place and you didn't capitalize off it, knowing that some persons really don't know how to. So as an MP, I've been very effective in that area.
Definitely.
And because I know who my people are, it was very easy for me to reach out to them. And of course, because of how accessible I am, it's easy for them to reach out to me.
Yes.
Now, what I realized in my community is that there were many single parents or parents who were struggling,
Yes.
especially within a particular area. And then when you look at it, there are persons who may not necessarily be struggling financially. But what I was made to understand and what I recognize is that you don't know the financial challenges that parents or families are
Yep.
experiencing. So we have a tendency to label them and
Yes.
say, this is not for you, or you should not be benefiting from.
Yes.
And that is the reason why when we introduced the Early Start program, the daycare program,
Yep.
of which we have invested $686,000 into that program, and currently 150 parents, or I should say children, are benefiting from it. Sometimes when you look at the needs assessment, you have to deviate a bit,
Yep.
because we would say it belongs to a single parent,
Yep.
mother or father. But then you may have a family who comes in, have children studying abroad that they're taking care of, they have mortgage. How can we ignore their needs?
Yep.
So it's important for us to ensure that those who needed it
Yes.
benefited from it.
Definitely.
And then as you go to the various homes, they would say to you, I'm a single mother. Minimum wage at that time was $6.25.
Yes.
Actually, I was the minister with responsibilities for labor. So therefore, the living wage happened
Yes.
under my remit
Yes.
as Minister of Labor at that time. So it was important for us as a government to review what it is that we had campaigned on. So instead of the minimum wage, we therefore introduced the living wage.
Yes.
Right? And Mr. Jolly and Honorable Jameka, when we canvass around the homes, you would hear them specifically talking about these programs and how much it has benefited and impacted their
Yes.
lives. And I must say they are quite grateful from the daycare, the after-school program,
Yes.
as well as the nutrition program,
Definitely.
which is an opportunity for our children across the Turks and Caicos Islands to also receive free lunch.
Definitely.
And when I usually look at programs, I try to align it with the investment, because the National Food Nutrition Program is 1.4 million.
Wow.
And then when we talk about the school social academic enrichment program,
Yep.
that's the after-school program, that's a whooping 770,000. And as I mentioned earlier, the daycare program is $686,818. So it is an investment.
Yes.
But I say this for those persons who say, I've failed. When you look at
Who
what we
says
have,
that? I couldn't imagine.
I don't like to call the other side, but and
No,
that's the reason
just
why.
joking.
One thing I've encouraged the residents to do
Yes.
is to get involved,
Exactly.
get
Yep.
engaged, take advantage of the various social media platform, attend as many town hall meetings as you can.
Yes.
I specifically draw their attention to the many town hall meetings
Yes.
that were held at the Gustavus Library Sports Complex, and the numbers were quite low.
Yes.
We told them about the importance of attending because we need to hear from them.
Yep.
Because there will be opportunities for us to tweak
Yep.
the ideas that we put in place.
Yes.
And if they don't show up, we act in their best interest.
Yes.
So that's just a small amount of the things that we were able to achieve.
Yes.
And actually, I was also minister with responsibilities for NIB. And we have had numerous increases in NIB pensions throughout the year.
Definitely.
The 4 years. So I feel quite confident. But I guess the discussion will come up very soon in relation to, the immediate impact too,
Yes.
in terms of the infrastructural development.
No, for sure.
And I think it's very important. Someone said it while we were on the campaign trail. It is about people touching them where it matters most,
Yes.
rather than roads are important, definitely. Sidewalks are important.
Yes.
But when you are able to meaningfully impact the lives of our people,
Yes.
so that they will have sufficient monies in their pocket
Yes.
to improve their life,
Yes.
I think that is most important.
Great. Wow. Powerful stuff. Let me do what I call a little quick round here. And what I want to do is just get from each one of you, maybe just a minute and a half response. I'm going to just say from each one of you, what I want you to give me is your key word or key phrase that you think is going to be your guiding light over the next 5 years. So I've given this example and some of the other ones that I've used. And for me, it's housing, right? And my reason for that is because I believe that, the people of Turks and Caicos over the next 5 years and beyond, if we're going to have true stake in our country, we're going to have housing, equity in our country, a stake in our country, a reason to really fight for what we want in our country. And so if you have something tangible like a home, you're going to do everything you can to protect your home and to work and to add value in your community. So I just want each one of you to give me your one word or 1 or 3 words and give me your reason why in about a minute. So I'm going to start with you, Honorable Malcolm.
Yeah. Well, for me, for the next 5 years, I'm going to eat, sleep, drink, comprehensive health reform
Okay.
in this country.
Yes.
And it starts with, actually, I oversee the largest social program in this country called healthcare.
Yes.
Treatment abroad.
Yes.
Comprehensive reform in NHIB. Major reform coming as it relates to delivery of healthcare through hospitals
Yes.
and clinics. You
Yes.
will see major polyclinics
Yes.
going up across this country. We are advanced with Blue Hills coming in Cheshire Hall,
Yes.
2 in Provo, major one in Grand Turk, reforming South Caicos, transforming South Caicos Clinic into a polyclinic.
Yes.
Also in North Caicos,
Yes.
going to 24 hours a day,
Wow.
not just transforming it to a polyclinic, but a major service. Then also with mental health, building a next facility here in Providenciales. You will
Yes.
see that coming in this next term.
Okay.
Not just buying ambulances
Yes.
to service the needs in our community.
Yes.
But we have already started to train our workers in the EMS to become professional
Yes.
paramedics, which is a major game changer
Yes.
in delivering health care in these Turks and Caicos Islands.
Definitely.
And also in this term, we had already not only putting paramedics
Yes.
on the ambulance services that we deliver, but we also have a medical doctor in the EMS, transformative,
Definitely.
already taking place. So we will see in this term the people of this country desire a major healthcare reform.
Yes.
I, as the minister in the last 2 years, have made major strides. We have accomplished getting our hospital situation on the table, which opens the door to major restructuring of the way we deliver healthcare in this country. So comprehensive healthcare review will certainly be the word coming that I will use in the next
Definitely.
5 years.
Thank you, Honorable
And you will
Minister.
see it.
You went a little over your 2 minutes. I'm going to hold you to it, Mr. Jolly. You don't take
didn't
his
touch
lead.
environmental
Don't take his lead when you get in the House of Assembly. He's been known to be stealing minutes. By the way, I noticed that. No, well, Mr. Jolly, I'll go with you.
All right, so I'll do my best not to be long-winded, but I can't make any promises. So I think if I had to put it in one word or statement, I'd say financial independence.
Nice.
And I think it ranges in terms of every minister, every ministry, and every Turks and Caicos Islander. And I think it's so interesting. And that's why I love to have this opportunity to be a new candidate or a candidate with this Progressive National Party team. I think you can't understate the work that's been put in over the past 4 years by this team, and I'm glad to be on the stage with them. I just want to commend them and thank them in the almost the genius of the premier, the Honorable Charles Washington Mizik, and I'll tell you why. And I get very passionate about this because I honestly feel this is why I'm here, but this is why God and the team has played a role in selecting me, but this is why God has put me here as well. Growth without a plan can be catastrophic.
Yes.
In any country, especially a small country like ours, and we've seen it in our country over the history, but we've also seen it in other countries. This government has spent the last 4 years strengthening and creating the kind of social programs and social services that makes a country ready to grow at an extreme rate, whether it's economical growth, industrial growth, growth altogether. And then here comes individuals like myself who become a member of the team and wants to find innovative ways of finding finance for this growth. And you would appreciate this almost more than anyone having working in finance and working with numbers. Now that we have the social programs, for example, let's say this economy starts to boom, and I'll talk about a couple of things that can get us there as well, and I'll be quick. How can we expect our young people, our Turks and Caicos Island, our parents, to focus on work if they have to worry about daycare?
Yes.
Here comes daycare you don't have to worry about paying
Yes.
for. How can we help to educate our people in a growing economy that will require you to be educated? The community college is free.
Yes.
And you can go through so many areas. We can talk about the TVET program, and that's just on the Ministry of Education on Baric's side. We can talk to Honorable Malcolm's side. He just talked about comprehensive healthcare reform, where our population may potentially grow. We want our people to have more children here, and he, in his ministry, and this government, is taking all the necessary steps and to put that foundation in place to accommodate the kind of economic growth. And then here comes a young guy myself who's supposed to bring that innovative thought and energy to the team, complementing the social services program. You see me write articles about extended maternity leave, paid paternity leave, co-financed by the government and the employer. You see me talk about private sector pension, also co-funded by the employer and the government, where we can take the pressures off of our retired population or our young population, having to help provide for our retired population. This government has already gone to the extent of increasing national insurance contributions, and they're ahead of the game. And here I am hoping to come and bring added measure to that. Now, when we talk about economic and industrial growth, how are we going to finance this growth that we're hoping to get after putting the 4 years in place? My job is to come with innovative ways. You've heard me talk about leveraging the Crown Land Sovereign Fund to create a national development plan that ties in where we have the opportunity to lease land to developers now, where if they do a huge project, we are still the owners of the land and benefit financially. Imagine if we had these ideas 40 years ago, where large projects like beaches, 7 Stars, all these Grace Bay hotels had these developments, but we were still the owners of the land, and they paid us an annual lease. You've seen me write articles and talk about annual land tax on land owned by non-Turks and Caicos Islanders. We have this huge inventory of land owned by non-Turks and Caicos Islanders that just sit on the market stagnant. There's no pressure to develop. They haven't paid into our system since their initial stamp duty. So now we can generate revenue from these lands is sitting there. And again, if they believe they don't want to pay, then again, you leverage it, liens, eminent domain. We take it back, and now we have land for Turks and Caicos Islanders. But my biggest, I guess, focus that I want to bring moving forward into to the election and talk about is we've been so fortunate now since we've come out of debt in 2012 to be a debt-free country. And when you get into the huge development stage of growth, debt isn't a bad thing, especially when you now have a positive track record like ours. When the U.S. took their industrial revolution and they wanted to build railroads from one end of American coast to the next, they created their bond system, the government-backed bonds, and they sold it to their population, making sure no one from any other country could own it because they knew the government would be leveraged. And they were able to finance the construction of railways across the entire U.S., which revolutionized their economy. They were able to ship materials and goods from one end to the other. We've leveraged ourselves in a perfect position where we can create that kind of controlled, planned debt and take on a huge industrial and development and infrastructural development plans. Sidewalks in every residential neighborhood along the highway, huge highway development, overpasses, the bridge that connects the Inter-Caribbean, the Inter-Turks and Caicos bridge that connects Provo all the way to South Caicos. This can all be financed through government-backed bonds because we have wealth here. We have local wealth here, and our people will support it because these are the steps towards independence. So I feel like I am perfectly situated. This government is perfectly situated. We have the perfect team, and I know I've gone substantially over my time, but I couldn't. I had to say it.
But we love it.
Yeah, so I'm going to end on that note.
Definitely. No, as you can see, you're already taking lessons from Honorable Malcolm here, which is a good thing.
I'm a jolly too.
Yeah, I know. No, Honorable Williams. What about you?
So I will say, throughout the campaign, I've been saying that part of my platform is employment reform. So I would say that is what is necessary in these next 5 years.
Yep.
As we came into government in 2021, we saw the opening of the Ritz-Carlton, and there were other initiatives, other organizations that opened and provided jobs for Turks and Caicos Islanders. But I don't believe that we should just be providing jobs. We also need to provide the security to give the proper legislation, make those amendments so that we have better job security, upward mobility, properly paid jobs, and Turks and Caicos Islanders who take the lead, who are at the helm of the decision makers in this country. We have an understudy program. It's a good program, but who is enforcing it? Who is policing it? So those are things that I want to make representation for Turks and Caicos people, to make sure that we do have the opportunity, to make sure that we are properly managing the understudy programs, to ensure that work permits, persons coming in our countries, yes, we need persons, we need skills from outside to come into work, but it is not a situation where we have these extended permits and it's just renewing over and over and over again, and we don't allow a Turks and Caicos Islander who will be properly trained to eventually fill that position. Those are the things that I want to advocate for on behalf of Turks and Caicos people. In addition to that, Ralph, my background is human resource. I worked at major hotels. I worked at the largest employer here in Turks and Caicos with Beaches Turks and Caicos. I worked at statutory bodies and human resources. And I can tell you, and I've also been employees. I've been a cashier. My first job was a cashier. So I've had the experience of having all of those experiences to better position me to what I know needs to be, the void that needs to be filled, and the loopholes. The loopholes that employers come here and they take advantage. That's the only way that I could put it. They take advantage of our people. So I am here to make sure that I give the proper support to the government and to make sure that Turks and Caicos people truly take their rightful place in this country and be able to thrive from this thriving, booming tourism economy.
Definitely. And Honorable Taylor?
Of course, the one word is empowerment.
Yes.
And empowerment under the Honorable Rachel Taylor will be in relation to education, youth, sports, making sure that we become very inclusive. I think we've made an assertive effort to ensure that We reach out to many persons as possible. But I think we have done much, but there is still more work to do.
Yes.
When we talk about empowerment, my greatest focus too will be on special needs. We came into this government, and the special needs unit was actually under the Ministry of Health at that time.
Yeah.
And then the baton was handed over to the Ministry of Education. So we have made much strides. We now have a special needs unit, and we have much human resources in place for us to be able to assist our children wherever they are. When we talk about special needs unit, under my remit, it is those cohorts from 0 to 21 years of age. So we currently have a director. We also have a speech and language pathologist, occupational therapist, behavior analyst. Those have been catered for. But when we looked very deeper into the data, we realized that a large cohort of our special needs students around the Turks and Caicos Islands, the challenges lie within the area of autism. So we have been quite intentional to ensure that we onboarded additional autism teachers for the SNAP Center, ensuring too that even within our high schools, we have additional special needs teachers. But what I really like about it is that after coming in, and as the other team members mentioned, you go around, you listen to the cries of the people. For example, on the island of Grand Turk, where there was no special needs SNAP Center, but what we have done, last week, we have 5 clinicians in, particular in the area of speech and language pathology. Now, what we are doing now, we are ensuring that those individuals remain on the island of Grand Turk to provide the necessary service to all students, not just those in government schools, but also in our private schools, and anyone in the community who may need that support. Now, we have been able to partner with One World Foundation as well as Therapy Abroad. So there's going to be a continuation of services, 6 months actually. And then our aim is to ensure that there are 15 clinicians. So therefore we can have an additional 5 in Provo, and then the other 5 to share with the other family islands. So this is a rotation of 6 months. So when after 6 months, another group will come. The continuous support is going to be necessary for us to see the kind of development within our children. And then, of course, when we look at education, we want to focus and zone more on technical, vocational, educational training.
Yes.
Now, that is the trade school that everybody is saying that we did not deliver on. But in this technologically advanced day and age, we are definitely going to have the Turks and Caicos Islands Community College. Because remember now, we paid about $4.6 million for the new location. And we are going to factor in components of TVET, technical vocational educational training, the whole idea of trade. Now, what we're going to introduce, and I was so elated that we have benefited from a $7 million grant, a $7 million grant. I want to take this opportunity to say a special thanks to our CEO of the community college, Dr. Candice Williams. At the community college, they're able to get that grant, and then we just have to pay a small portion, about $200,000 of that, to show our interest. Now, during a presentation that was held in Cabinet just the other day, we're not just talking about persons just going into a huge room or building to call it trade school. We are focusing on virtual reality and augmented reality. And what that does, it really takes into consideration an interactive experiences. And then it is really combined with real world and computer generated 3D. During that presentation, you would see persons having the opportunity to pull aside or tear apart. I want to go as simple as I can get it so people can understand. You can pull apart an engine just by using your laptop or by using your iPhone. So you don't necessarily need the particular space. But once you have that device in your hand, it tells you how to put it apart, build it together. And I was so excited about it because this is the way in which we are going in this technologically advanced day and age. So TVAT is going to be completely different from what persons are thinking, where you get this room filled with machines and children have to learn. But things are changing. And we have to change with times.
Definitely.
Because we have to ensure that our students are globally marketable.
Yes.
And they will not be globally marketable
Yes.
if you're going to come with the old way of doing things.
Yes.
But in so doing that, when we talk about empowerment through TVET, we want to ensure that programs too are better developed within the prison for the purpose of rehabilitation. So when our prisoners return, they will have the necessary skills so that they can thrive,
Definitely.
build better opportunities. And that's what empowerment looks like. So when we talk about TVET and we talk about special needs, another important opportunity for us is that Honorable Williams spoke to it in terms of making sure that our students not just have the education, but also have the work experience that's needed so they can take on their rightful positions. And we will continue to lobby.
Yes.
You see the investment of that $500,000 for our internship and apprenticeship program? After 3 years, we now have the data, the statistics to prove that we need an increase in that, because our children are beginning to understand that once I am a part of that program, once I've gained the experience, definitely no one will be able to say no to them
Definitely.
when they return.
And I can attest to that for
Experience
sure, because I
matters.
know where I work at the hospital, we've had quite a few apprentice that came through, and it's been, game-changing, remarkable for them.
Right.
So I know it's not just a lip service program. They're actually getting the experience, working in various areas of the hospital, and which I can say that I would say that for sure we can have that throughout the Turks and Caicos. That would be a breath of fresh air. Now, I know, of course, we want to keep going. And of course, we're getting to that point in the show where we have to kind of wrap it up here. We're getting to the end here. So what I want to do is just allow for you, the candidates, the representatives, to speak to the audience. What I'm going to do, though, is going to kind of twist it up a little bit here. We're going to do some endorsements here. So what's going to happen here is, Mr. Jolly, you're going to endorse Honorable Williams and vice versa. And then Honorable Rachel, you're going to endorse Honorable Shaun and vice versa. And pretty much that endorsement is just, why should the people of the Turks and Caicos entrust each person here with that vote? And why should they be a representative after the next election? And of course, why should they stick with the PNP and vote PNP straight down the line? So, Mr. Jolly, I'll allow you a minute to give a good endorsement for our Honorable Jameka Williams. You have the stage.
No, this one's easy. Listen, we said the term several times already. Politics is about people, and no one cares more about people than Honorable Williams. And it's one thing to care about people, but to be willing to fight to not only protect their rights, but to advance their best interests. In the House of Assembly, she's known as the receipt keeper. You remember?
Yep.
Let me remind you.
Yes.
You cannot not trust someone who was always willing to not only put their name and their reputation on the line for you, but to fight against all odds to always
Definitely.
represent your best interest. And I'm not even talking about as encouraging other voters. This is an endorsement from me as a voter. I have no apprehension when it comes to voting for Honorable Williams. She's continuously championed not just for the employment sector, but Turks and Caicos Islanders in the employment sector. She believes that Turks and Caicos Islanders shouldn't only be first when it comes to opportunities, but the best opportunities. She's highly aware of all the dysfunction that exists in that field right now, where persons come in, they overstay their positions, they get promoted, they benefit. All these beneficial attributes are going to non-Turks and Caicos Islanders.
Yes.
And I know for a fact, if she's given the opportunity, she will do everything within her power to make sure Turks and Caicos Islanders are not taken advantage of and represented. And I feel that way about the entire Progressive National Party team. I'm telling you, I'm not just here because an opportunity opened, because it wasn't an easy opportunity to become a candidate for this party. I am here because I believe this government has done an excellent job of putting a foundation in that, where persons like myself, new candidates, can come in and find a active role to play in making sure that the next 5 years is the greatest 5 years this country's ever seen. Yes. I want everyone, including young people, to prepare themselves for the kind of economic growth and economic boom that is coming to this country, and make sure you understand why it is important to make sure this government is in position over the next 5 years to deliver on all the hard work they've already put in place.
Perfect. Honorable Williams.
Thank you so much.
You got my vote.
I think you got one vote for sure.
Thank you. So, what I can say about Zhavargo, he brings a different level of energy
Yes.
to the team, and I, just campaigning along with him, I see how the young persons they gravitate to him because. Getting into politics now with the Progressive National Party, he's had a platform already with the shows that he's been doing, and a lot of what he has been saying on the shows is transitioning over to the campaign now, talking about financial independence and general independence for Turks and Caicos, and that is some of those things that I'm very passionate about, especially about having Turks and Caicos as an independent country. So definitely we need to have his influence with the younger persons to educate our people on financial independence and independence on the whole. So he's been a really good add to the team.
Yes.
Progressive National Party, there's no doubt, there's no other option by supporting the Progressive National Party. We had a mandate during the last election to look after the social ills, and we've done that.
Yes.
From the babies to the elderly, from the cradle to the grave, as we say on the campaign trail. We've done that. Yes, we have concerns about infrastructure, but those things will be addressed in the next term because when we got into office, it was important to look out for people, right? We met our people struggling, so it was important for us to look out for people. So I would say support the Progressive National Party because out of all of our candidates, all 19 of them, everybody brings a different level of experience, a different flavor, and we just put it all together and make it work for the entire country.
Great. Honorable Taylor, endorsement for Honorable Malcolm.
Honorable Malcolm loves to talk about his experience in politics, although his first time making it to cabinet. So I say, progress and experience you can trust.
Yes.
Now, the health of a nation is the wealth of a nation. The wealth of a nation is the health of a nation, vice versa. So I just want to say that teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes.
And there are situations within my constituency where constituents will cry out to me in relation to their health issues. And I could tell you, for more than 98% of the time, Honorable Malcolm came through for me. At times when I would call the hospital, at times when I would call Honorable Malcolm, at times when I would show up with my people, which was critical for me.
Yes.
I think that is something that I have appreciated most for him, his availability at most times. And I think the people in my constituency understands that. So sometimes when the cry is made, Honorable Taylor, I need assistance here. The only thing I say, send me your NHIP card. And once that is sent and is given to Honorable Malcolm, the situation is solved. Not just solved, but in a timely manner. So I just want to take this opportunity to encourage the Turks and Caicos Islands that a vote, especially from ED9, a vote from Honorable Taylor is not sufficient. Honorable Taylor alone cannot bring us to cabinet. We have to take a collective effort. And there are some times when you are canvassing and persons may say, I'm a PNP, but I'm giving one vote to Tom, Dick, or Harry. And we have to explain to them the reason why they can't all vote straight down the line. Shade in the bubble. Look for all the conch shells. You know what my mommy say? Mommy says to me, I go in the polling station, I take 10 seconds. I say, why? Because I only look for the shells. And when I look for the shells, this time we're not going to put an axe, but we're going to shade it. Shade in that little bubble. So it's going to be important for us to bring home all 19 candidates. All 19 candidates. And I want to take this opportunity as the candidate for Electoral District 9 to say a special thank you to our Premier for the leadership that he has demonstrated. I think it has made me a better, not just MP, but a better candidate as I venture into the next government on February 7th. So vote for RM and Taylor, and of course, vote for my good body, the people's person, the man of all seasons, the man who knows everybody. But guess what? He's my cousin for real. The Honorable Shaun Malcolm.
David Malcolm. Boy,
David.
you got to put that David in there. And you got the
Yes.
last one, the last photo, the last endorsement here, Honorable Malcolm.
Well, Ralph, it is a privilege to endorse the Honorable Rachel Taylor and to say to the constituency of Five Keys, many years ago, I asked them to look at a former minister who was an excellent representative. That's the person of Honorable Lillian Boyce. Last election, I asked you to trust and repose your trust in the Honorable Rachel Taylor. She has not disappointed you in Five Keys. I have never seen a woman work so hard like the Honorable Rachel Taylor. She just said in endorsing, I believe all the ministers, we hear from Rachel Taylor, if there's not a day, there's not a cabinet meeting that she doesn't fight for the people of Five Keys. She lived, she breathes the people of Five Keys every day. Sometimes we wonder, we ask her sometimes, Rachel, when you go rest? She will not rest.
Yes.
And you know, Ralph, she knows every corner. Places I never knew exist in Five Keys. Honorable Rachel Taylor knows. If there's about 1,000 or more.
Yeah, 1,300.
Yeah, 1,300
Everybody.
voters.
Yeah, everybody.
In Five Keys. And I'm telling you, I don't think there's no constituency candidate like the Honorable Rachel Taylor that knows she can tell you everyone, their background. She can tell you everything about every voter in Five Keys. That's impressive.
Yes.
And I wish I was in Five Keys and have her as my representative. So Five Keys, I want you to know, I kept saying this for the last couple of months to the people of this country, that my grandmother always said that a bird in the hand is worth more than two in the bush. And I say to Five Keys that the Honorable Rachel Taylor is a bird in your hand that you cannot, under no circumstances, let go of for the unknown in the bush.
Yes.
And you can't even see that in the bush. And so I say on February 7th, you don't have nothing to think about. Five Keys, Chalks on South Dock Road. Go to the poll and just shade in next to the Honorable Rachel Taylor and the conch shell, and of course, straight down the line for every PNP candidate. And I am excited.
Yes.
Even with our new four, they all bring a level of excitement to our team. They all have their individual, and I tell you, I'm voting for all of them.
Yep.
Yeah, I shading right down the line. I ain't bopping. I ain't whopping. We keeping it where we get it.
Amen.
Because this government has certainly, we have certainly made our mark. I don't believe that there has been any government, and that's not by chance.
Yes.
When you look at history, I don't think that there has been a government with such high percentage of new people governing, and two, we have a large, over 80% of us were not career politicians coming out of the private sector and not coming out of the government system where we are used to producing. You have to produce and be productive. So this government accomplishing over 100, every time you look at our rallies, you look at our website, what we have accomplished, a record. This, you know why we're going to be successful at the polls 19-0? because politics is about your record. You can only go to the people on a record, and we have certainly produced a record. That's why we ain't running on. Just talk, listen to the people.
Yes.
You listen to the voters all across this country. They tell you every time. We have never seen a government that has performed and they have put it where you can see it. They have felt this government, and they're gonna landslide us back. Don't worry about the noise in the market.
No.
This is the real beef, and we got the best grade of 19, best grade of beef, and I shade off some of mine. But
lean beef.
But we have lean beef
Yes, that's
over here in the
marble meat,
Progressive
yeah.
National Party. So I say
Definitely.
again, vote for all of my colleagues.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to thank each and every one of you for being here, taking the time out. I know the schedules are busy, and there's a lot of work to be done. So to even sit down and to spare some of your time to be with me on the show is a big help, and just very appreciative of that. And I just want to thank you, Turks and Caicos, for tuning in every time that we have a show. It's been a pleasure just interviewing these candidates for you, and hopefully getting questions answered and getting a better feel for who you want to go to polls for and support come February 7th. But at all cases, I would just say this: your vote matters, your voice matters. Use your opportunity to get to the polls and vote on February 7th. Don't sit at home. Don't waste your vote. Don't just think it doesn't matter, because it does. The next government of this country is going to have serious work to do, whether it's a Progressive National Party government or whether it's a PDM government, whoever it might be. But the most important thing is that your voice be heard on February 7th. The beautiful thing about democracy is that whatever happens, you, the people, get to decide what happens. So come February 7th, please get out to the polls and vote. ED9, I want to just plead with you specifically, please get out to the polls and vote. Your voice matters, regardless of how you might feel at this moment. Your voice matters. I can tell you that I'm endorsing Honorable Rachel Taylor personally, even though I can't vote for her and I'm not an ED9, but I'm endorsing her personally just because of the hard work I've seen her as a candidate who lost an election, who didn't give up like many candidates do, who kept the work going, came back and won the election, and then not only won it, but then served even harder, served like she never even won it, like she was a candidate just trying to get in that seat again. She's not perfect. No candidate is perfect. But I can say that she is someone that has put work to the lip service that she is given. And I can say that I'm endorsing each of these other three candidates that I can vote for and I will vote for. Mr. Zhavargo Jolly, I know him personally. We went to school together. I've seen him grow. I've seen the person that he's become and what he represents. And of course, Honorable Jameka Williams, a fireball in the House of Parliament, a fireball, just even in meetings that we're in, always standing for what she believes in. And I know that she will be just as much eager to work for you, the people of the Turks and Caicos across all the islands. I know that I can trust her to be someone that will represent on substance, someone that will bring, just the right energy to the team, regardless of where she's put and where she has to serve. And of course, everybody's good cousin, but even more importantly, Honorable Shaun Malcolm, who has served and been a lifetime politician and has a journey and an experience that's maybe second to very few, I could say, and that has been elected this last term and has worked and worked and worked, regardless of where he's been put, he's been able to work and he's been able to produce results. And so that's who I'm standing by, these candidates here, and I hope you would do the same. So thank you again. This is What's Up Nation. Please join us for other episodes as we get closer to the election. And I just want to say, keep it where you got it. Don't rock the boat. This is What's Up 3.0. Thank you very much.
Diggy diggity bam bam bay, diggy diggity bam bam bay, diggy diggity bam bam bay. We vote and pay and pay. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody voting, they voting in time. Shelling, yes we shelling. They voting PNP down the line, PNP down the line. Down the line, we voted. There was this lady, she don't know what to do. PNP, we voting, we vote. When we go to the polls, we go PNP, we voting, we voting, we vote, we voting, PNP. Everybody voting, they voting in time. Shelling, yes we shelling. They voting PNP, PNP down the line. We voting, PNP down the line. PNP down the line. Let me go, let me go, let me go, let me go. Vote, 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 vote. PNP down the line. Vote, 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 vote. PNP down the line. Vote, 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 vote. PNP down the line. If you voted for PNP this election, help me sing this part. Down the line. Down the line. Let's go. Down the line, 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 line. I can't hear y'all. Down the line. Come down the line. Down the line, 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 line. We going, yes we going. Down, vote, vote, vote. PNP down the line. Vote, 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 vote, PNP. Diggy diggity bum bum bay, diggy diggity bum bum bay, diggy diggity bum bum bay. We voting PNP. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody voting, they voting in time. Shelling, yes we shelling. They voting PNP, PNP down the line. PNP down the line. We voting, PNP down the line. We voting, we voting. There was this lady, she don't know what to do. Come on, let me show you what to do. I said, come on, baby, vote PNP down the